Hello everyone. Azygous system is a system of veins which is present in the posterior wall of the trunk, that is in the posterior thoracic wall as well as the posterior abdominal wall. It is a system of veins, so it is draining the veins present on the posterior part of the trunk. Welcome everyone. Myself Dr. Ankit Khandelwal, MBBS and MS in anatomy. This is my YouTube channel Anatomy Explained. Kindly subscribe and share the videos. For more interaction and for more discussion on the anatomy, we have a Facebook page with the name Dr. Ankit Khandelwal Anatomy Discussion, and also the Facebook group with the same name Dr. Ankit Khandelwal Anatomy Discussion. Apart from this, I also interact with a lot of students through my Telegram group, and again the name is Anatomy Explained. After this, I also am educator in the Unacademy platform. So for all the live lectures and the recorded versions, you can log into the Unacademy platform. And in this, if you want to subscribe, you can use the code my name Dr. Ankit 10 to get 10% off in this particular platform. Welcome again to this topic today. That is the azygous system, which is a system of veins. Let us see the anatomy of the azygous system of veins. To start with the anatomy of the azygous system, we first have to know a little bit about the embryology of this azygous system. Azygous system of veins is embryologically derived from the supracardinal veins. The supracardinal veins. Now there is a whole venous development in which we have the cardinal veins, the vitelline veins, and the umbilical veins. In the cardinal veins, which actually drain the body wall of the embryo, there is supracardinal, subcardinal, and there is sacrocardinal apart from the anterior and the posterior cardinal veins. So in all those systems, there is a supracardinal vein which actually gives rise to the embryology of the azygous system of vein. So what happens is that slowly during development, as the posterior cardinal veins they try to regress, the supracardinal veins in the upper part of the trunk they take their role, forming the azygous system of veins. So that is a little bit of the embryology of the azygous system of veins. Now let us go into the anatomy part of the azygous system. So if we look into the anatomy of the azygous system, first of all, the meaning of the word azygous is single or unpaired. But the meaning over here is slightly, you can say, controversial because it is in a sort of pair. So what does this azygous system do? For that we have to understand few basic things. Is that first of all, it is a vein, it is a system of vein which is connecting the superior vena cava, with the inferior vena cava. So just this line tells you a lot about the importance of the system. That is, it is connecting two major veins of the body. So if at all, if there is any condition in which these veins are getting compressed due to any tumor, any space occupying lesion, or anything for that sort, like say even the enlargement of the lymph nodes, or take anything inside the body, which is compressing these veins, in that case, the azygous system of vein or the azygous vein is going to connect these two veins so that the blood from the body is getting back towards the heart, and that is towards the right atrium chamber of the heart. So that is the importance, the main importance of the azygous system. So now if we look at the anatomy of the azygous system, we need to know the basics of what is SVC and IVC doing, where are they actually located. So if we look at the SVC, if we look at the superior vena cava first, then superior vena cava is draining the blood from the upper part of the body, that is from the head and neck, from the upper limb, from the upper part of the thorax. That is where the SVC is draining the blood. So yes, SVC is a big vein. And it is formed by two brachiocephalic veins. So there will be one brachiocephalic vein over here and the other one over here. This one which is crossing the midline is actually our left brachiocephalic vein, and this one already shown a little oblique but it is nearly horizontal is our right brachiocephalic vein. So remember, the left brachiocephalic vein crosses the midline. So if we imagine the midline would be somewhat located over here. So you can see the SVC is also on the right side of the midline. Why? Because it is draining the blood into the right atrium. Now that right atrium chamber, if we make some dotted lines over here, they will be present somewhat over this area, that is to the right border of the heart. So the right border of the heart is basically formed by right atrium. So SVC on the right side. Now these two right brachiocephalic veins, they are actually formed by the subclavian vein which is coming from the upper limb and the internal jugular vein which is coming from the upper part of this, that is the head and neck region. So you have this left internal jugular and left subclavian vein. So these are our subclavian veins on the respective sides. subclavian veins on the respective sides, and that is your internal jugular vein on the respective side. Now there is one more jugular vein which empties into the subclavian vein on both the sides, and that is our external jugular vein. So this would be our respective sides external jugular vein. So this is how the blood is actually entering into the SVC. That is a little bit introduction of the SVC. If you talk now of the IVC, now IVC is, that is the inferior vena cava, is draining the blood from the lower part. It is draining the blood from the lower part of the body. So here again we have this as, imagine as the IVC. IVC, now little bit of the IVC, not much. It starts, or it is formed at the vertebral level L5 by the combination or the union of the two common iliac veins. By the combination or union of the two common iliac veins, it will ascend up, and then it will pierce the diaphragm to enter into the right atrium. So we can make it a little bit more over here, lengthier IVC over here. At around the level, theoretical level is around T8. So around the level of T8, that is the vertebral level, it will pierce the diaphragm and it will enter. So let us make a fairly simple dotted green colored diaphragm over here. So this is the diaphragm, which is a whole range just separating the thoracic cavity from the abdominal cavity. So IVC pierces this diaphragm around T8 to enter into the right atrium. So it will also enter into the right atrium. So yes, we can make this right atrium a little bit longer over here. It forms the whole right border of the heart. Now these are the two main veins, that is the IVC and the SVC. Now what happens is that we have a vein over here, which is what we are discussing, that is the azygous system or azygous vein, which is a part of azygous system. Now if we make this vein with, say, different color, just for understanding, say this orangish color, then the formation of the azygous vein is on the right side. The azygous vein is on the right side. Okay, and its counterpart would be our accessory hemiazygous vein and the hemiazygous vein. Its counterpart on the left side are going to be the accessory hemiazygous and the hemiazygous vein. So the azygous vein starts to form from below. Now what happens over here, that in the IVC there are few lumbar veins which are draining the posterior abdominal wall. They enter into the IVC. These are the lumbar veins which enter into the IVC, because you can say the IVC is right in front of the lumbar vertebrae. So yes, few of the veins which will enter into the IVC, which will be these lumbar veins. Now all these lumbar veins, they are connected by veins which are actually known as the ascending lumbar vein. So this will be our right side ascending lumbar vein, and that would be our left side ascending lumbar vein. So just let me label over here the ascending lumbar vein. Okay, so that is your right side ascending lumbar vein. Now just below the 12th rib, you also have a subcostal vein. So let us try to make over here a subcostal vein on both the sides. So that would be our right sided subcostal vein. So this is right subcostal vein, and that is our right, I'm just writing AL vein. We know it is the ascending lumbar vein. So these two on the right side, they will actually meet, combine, and they are going to form your azygous vein over here. So azygous vein formation is right over here. It is also going to pierce the diaphragm, because see, where is IVC? IVC is retroperitoneal. So these are all structures which are present posteriorly, meaning this lower half below the diaphragm. These veins are present posteriorly. So azygous vein which is formed from these veins, this azygous vein which is formed from these veins, it will enter from the abdominal cavity into the thoracic cavity while passing through the aortic opening. So it may pass through the aortic opening. So how it enters the diaphragm? There are two ways in which it can enter the diaphragm. Is that it can either enter or can pierce the diaphragm while passing through the aortic opening. That is option number 1. And option number 2 is, if it doesn't pass through the aortic opening, it will pierce the right crus of diaphragm. It will pierce the right crus of diaphragm. So ultimately the point over here is, ultimately it reaches into the thoracic cavity. But remember again, it is lying posteriorly. Where it is lying? Posteriorly. So yes, it will ascend up and it will go in this way. It will go in this way. And finally around the level of sternal angle, which is the angle between the manubrium sterni and the body of sternum, you have a hypothetical plane which is taken up at the junction of manubrium and the body of sternum, that we have already discussed in the previous videos on the thoracic cage. So right around this level, that is the junction between T4 and T5, the azygous vein will move from posteriorly. So it is, imagine the vein is lying posterior on my body, so it will move from posteriorly, it will arch on the right side, and then it will drain into the SVC. Then it is going to drain into the SVC, where around the level of sternal angle, but to be more sure, it enters slightly 1 to 2 centimeter below the level of external angle. Then it will finally drain into the superior vena cava. So this is how the vein is going. Now along its way, we already seen that it is lying on the posterior side, or because it is draining the posterior wall of the body, posterior wall of the whole trunk. So it is lying on the posterior side, therefore its tributaries on the right side are going to be the right posterior intercostal veins. Posterior intercostal veins from right 5th to right 11th posterior intercostal veins, because the right 12th one is already from the right subcostal vein. So from right 5th to right 11th, they will directly drain into the azygous vein, which is going to drain into the SVC. Now what about the upper posterior intercostal veins? The right second, third and fourth, posterior intercostal veins, they form a vein which is known as the right superior intercostal vein. The right superior intercostal vein. And this is also going to drain directly into azygous vein. So these right sided second, third, fourth posterior intercostal veins, they also ultimately drain to azygous, but slightly indirectly. But they will ultimately drain, and then they ultimately go into the SVC. This is on the right side picture. Now what happens on the left side? Now if you are still wondering that what about the first one, then both sides on the right and left, the first posterior intercostal vein on both the side, right and left side, it drains into its respective brachiocephalic vein. It drains into its respective brachiocephalic vein. Now let us see the counterparts on the left side, because that is going to complete our azygous system. That is going to complete this is what we have seen only of the azygous vein. Now we are going to complete the azygous system. Now the counterpart on the left side is these two veins. If I make them with greenish color, then this would be our accessory hemiazygous vein, and that is going to cross the midline, drain into the azygous, and that is going to be your hemiazygous vein, that is again going to cross the midline and drain into the azygous vein. Now which veins are draining into these accessory hemiazygous and hemiazygous vein, that is worth noting over here. And the veins which drain over here are left sided, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, left sided 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th posterior intercostal vein. And this is lower down that 9th, 10th and 11th, 9th, 10th and 11th posterior intercostal vein on the left side. Again about the hemiazygous vein. Hemiazygous vein is this one, lower one. Its formation is nearly same as that of the azygous vein. That is, azygous vein, if you recall, then we said that it is formed by the union of the right subcostal vein with the right ascending lumbar vein. On its counterpart on the left side, the same union of the left ascending lumbar vein and the left subcostal vein, that leads to formation of the hemiazygous vein. So it is also going to pierce the diaphragm. Now it pierces the diaphragm by piercing the left crus of diaphragm. Diaphragm we will do some other day about the anatomy of diaphragm. Today we are focusing only on the azygous system. So hemiazygous ascends from the abdomen and goes above on the left side posteriorly. Remember, everything over here is posteriorly apart from this SVC. I will show you a lateral figure also. So this lower 3/4 of the screen which you are seeing is present on the posterior part of the body. Upper 1/4 of the screen up till here, up till SVC, they are present on the anterior part of the body. So hemiazygous travels up and enters and goes from left side to right side. That is also a question. At which level? The answer of this is around T8 vertebrae, and this crosses around T7 vertebrae. And they are going to drain over here. Now we have left sided first posterior intercostal vein, left sided 5th, 6th and 7th. What about the left sided 2nd, 3rd and 4th? The left sided 2nd, 3rd and 4th posterior intercostal vein, again they are going to combine. They are going to form the left superior intercostal vein as the right one, but they are not going to drain into the azygous or hemiazygous, but they mainly drain around into their left brachiocephalic vein. So left superior intercostal vein over here drains into the left brachiocephalic, and the right superior intercostal vein drains into the azygous vein. Okay, so this is how the basic anatomy of the whole azygous system comes into play. Point to be noted over here is that this system over here, if I make it say with this color, this system over here is connecting the SVC with the IVC, So if there is any obstruction over here in the SVC, over here or below the opening or in the IVC, then this system comes into play, and it is connecting the two SVCs, the two veins, that is the inferior vena cava. So this was the basic anatomy. Now if you look at it in the lateral view, just try to understand this also. If suppose this is the manubrium, that is the body of sternum, and these are all our what? These are all our thoracic vertebral column. That is the thoracic vertebral column. Continue down into the lumbar vertebral column. And here we have the looping of the diaphragm. The diaphragm is actually coming like this. Diaphragm actually comes like this. Okay, and we have this as the thoracic inlet over here. The azygous veins, if we make it this color, or the azygous system, is present on the posterior part, and both the azygous and the hemizygous vein, they will ascend, pass through the diaphragm, and they are running on the posterior part. So their relation in the mediastinum is they are lying in the posterior mediastinum. Okay, then they reach where? Then they reach around the level of sternal angle. Which one? Now mainly the azygous vein, because hemizygous and accessory, they have already entered into the azygous vein while crossing the midline at T7 T8 vertebrae. Now this azygous vein over here is taking a loop over here, and then it crosses, jumps from posterior to anterior, and then it drains where? It drains into the SVC, which is going over here. This is how the picture lies. Therefore these azygous veins, they are draining the posterior intercostal veins, and not just the posterior intercostal, but even whatever the structures are around it, like the esophageal veins, the bronchial veins, and the pericardial veins, even from the posterior back region of the body, the skin and fascia, the muscle of the back region, that all those veins are also drained into the azygous vein. So azygous vein carries a lot of blood. Then this is the direction of its entry into the SVC. This is the direction of its entry into SVC. On which side will it enter? That also I guess you all understood. That is on the right side. So it is going to enter. It is going to form a loop or arch on the right side of the body. That is, it forms a loop over the right bronchus. Loop over the right bronchus. So that will also come into play when you read the structures related to the mediastinal surface of the right lung. So when you talk about this topic, that is the mediastinum or mediastinal surface of the right lung, then you will see a small groove over the hilum. That groove is formed by the looping of the azygous vein, because azygous vein is going from posterior to anterior. It's going from posterior to anterior. So this is how the basic anatomy of the azygous system plays. Now let me show you a simple figure over here. Here is what you can see, a lot of things which we already discussed. And this is your azygous vein. This is your azygous vein. Let me use this different color. Yes, this will be your azygous vein. You can see the thickness of the azygous vein compared to this is our accessory hemiazygous, and that is your hemiazygous vein. Both are coming from below the azygous and the hemiazygous, and there you can see the thickness or the increased diameter of the lumen of the azygous vein, which is much more than these, and then it is going to come from posterior to anterior, going to drain into the SVC. And here you can see all the posterior intercostal vessels being shown by the blue and red color. So these all are drained. Not just these, in the bronchial veins, the esophageal veins, the pericardial veins, some pleural veins, they will also be drained to azygous vein. So that is your basic anatomy. And remember about its role. So its role would be basically be useful whenever there is some obstruction in the SVC or the IVC, because this vein is connecting them, because this vein is literally connecting these two veins. So imagine if there is an obstruction. Let me show you obstruction, this green color. Imagine there is an obstruction in the SVC over here. Could be due to any tumor. Blood is actually shunted from here. Then from here it would go to the posterior intercostal veins. From posterior intercostal veins, it could go to the anterior intercostal veins. Okay, from there it could go to some other path like the subclavian veins, but ultimately they will also be blocked over here. So it may follow a different path. It may directly go backward from here into the subclavian veins or the axillary veins. Then from there it could go to the thoracoepigastric veins, and from there it could go to the great saphenous vein, go to the femoral vein, go to the IVC. So all the channels, even the IVC obstruction. Now that IVC obstruction would be more commoner. SVC obstruction is normally due to the lung tumors. Depends on it is obstructing below the opening of azygous vein or above the opening of azygous vein, or it could be due to the some lymphomas that could cause SVC obstruction. But you know that the IVC is present where? In the posterior part of abdominal wall. So there are a lot of viscera over here, plus all the retroperitoneal structures, any tumor, any lymph node, any hematoma, any pelvic structures, any pathology over there, that would comprise the IVC. So in those cases, this azygous vein, they play a role. And they actually they actually are carrying the blood from the posterior intercostal veins, so they will actually communicate with the anterior intercostal veins, so that they come to a different system anteriorly, that is our internal thoracic vein, and which could go low down into the superior epigastric vein. From there to inferior epigastric vein, could go above into the subclavian. So they are all the routes. Now all these routes are possible because of this azygous vein. So remember what we learned in the video today. The importance of the azygous system. Few things are very important over here about its basic anatomy. What are the various veins which it drain? Second thing is a little bit about its embryology, from where it is formed, and you should know about its clinical application. Basic idea of the azygous system is this, and that is all for the video. That is your azygous system. So I hope you liked the video, and that is all from my side. Myself, Dr. Ankit Khandelwal, and this is my YouTube channel, that is Anatomy Explained. If you like the video, then click on the like button, and try to share and subscribe the channel. For more videos, just be with us, and we will be producing with you more of the videos. Thank you so much for your time. Bye bye. Take care.